Shadow Foreign Secretary Dame Priti Patel joins me now. Dame Priti, I spoke to John Healey, the Defence Secretary, just now, and he seemed reluctant to say whether or not the Prime Minister supports this military action. What's your analysis of the statement Keir Starmer has given and the UK government's positioning here?
Good morning, Camilla. Well, first and foremost, I think it's a really feeble position. And yet again, we've seen the British government sit on the fence at, what is such a significant time, not just for our country, but for the world and for the Middle East. And let's not forget, we have British nationals in the Middle East, the Gulf states, in particular the GCC. We have British bases. And of course, we have service personnel, our men and women there. And it is right that we do everything possible to protect them and defend them. And so I have to say, I thought Keir Starmer's statement yesterday was utterly feeble. And, once again, as he did during the 12-day war last year, we saw Britain and Keir Starmer sit on the fence.
What should he have said, Dame Priti?
Well, first of all, he should be much more robust in terms of the fact that Iran is a barbaric and brutal regime. It represses its own citizens. It's a threat to our own country. We have issues here with Iranian proxies. Iran threatens our country through cyber attacks and also our allies and British nationals elsewhere around the world. And quite frankly, the government would have been informed about the imminent threats to our allies and potentially to our country. And we should have been much more robust, taking a really firm stance in offering up our support to the United States regarding this particular action and the strikes that were taken yesterday.
Do you have any insight into what advice or not Lord Hermer, the Attorney General, may have given to the Prime Minister? The suspicion is that Lord Hermer believes this to be illegal. He's consequently advised the Prime Minister of that, and that's why we've seen a degree of equivalence in his statement yesterday.
Well, I have no doubt that Lord Hermer has given some kind of legal advice. But just remember one thing, Camilla, is that an inherent threat to any country when it comes to their national security by a hostile state absolutely does, in international law, establish the principle for action to be taken. And Britain is under threat from Iran. It has been under threat for Iran for a long time now. And even last year, we had executive action taken against Iranian proxies. The British government should have taken much firmer action in our own country to proscribe the IRGC. I think it's astonishing that our own Foreign Secretary hasn't taken any action whatsoever or expelled the Iranian representatives that are based in this country representing the regime. Iran is a threat to our country. So your question was about Lord Hermer, the Attorney General, constantly giving advice to Keir Starmer to sit on the fence and sit on his hands. I'm afraid when our country is under threat from Iran, we just can't continue to sit this out anymore. We have to use our national security means. We have to protect the national security of our country. We have to protect our citizens. And Keir Starmer constantly chooses to opt out from taking any action, which I think is just unbelievable, and it's a dereliction of his duty.
I did ask this of the Defence Secretary, and he couldn't give me an answer because, to be fair to him, it's not necessarily his department. But we've got the Ayatollah's office in London still open. Should it be closed, Priti Patel?
It should be shut down, and the representatives there should be expelled from our country.
OK, along with, of course, Iran's ambassador to the UK, who apparently is still here.
Well, actually, this is my point. It is astonishing that the Foreign Secretary and, in fact, the entire government has not taken any action whatsoever. And, Camilla, you've heard me say this previously as well. On issues such as the IRGC, my party has offered to work with the government to fast-track emergency legislation in our parliament to take action against these operatives of the Iranian state, and no action has been taken. This is a serious moment. Iran is a threat to our country, threat to our military bases, our personnel, and to our citizens around the world. And the government now needs to step up and take action. It has sat on the fence for far too long.
Dame Priti, many who watch and listen to GB News can't figure one thing out. Why didn't the Tory government prescribe the IRGC when it had the chance, along with the Muslim Brotherhood?
Well, I can't answer that question because I did actually prescribe Hamas when I was in government, and over recent years I know that this has come up, and in fact the Labour Party in opposition said that they would prescribe the IRGC. As we know, things certainly from January this year, and we've spoken about this a number of times on your programme, Camilla, we've had a brutal regime that has massacred up to 30,000 of its own citizens, its own civilians. It's killed almost a generation of young people that were standing up for democracy and fighting for freedom. So things have changed dramatically in Iran, and that is why I have been pushing the British government to take action against the IRGC. Action has to be taken, and yet again I call upon the British government to step up now and take action, because Iran is a threat to our country.
It may only be a matter of time, Dame Priti, before there's a call for the UK to take Iranian refugees. Should we do so? Clearly there is a great deal of support in Britain for those who have been opposed to the Ayatollah, but as we've been witnessing in previous years with previous conflicts in the Middle East, people come here claiming asylum. Some of them want to absorb British values and be British. Others actually may have supported the despotic regimes from which they've fled.
Well, I think, first of all, those that are fighting for their freedom in Iran will want to see their country have a successful, peaceful and democratic future. The future of Iran should rightly be in their hands, and that is something we all want to see happen. When it comes to foreign policy issues and changes in situations, that will be for the British government, but I think we are not at that stage, and rightly so. This is about making sure that the repressive regime in Iran ends, and that has happened with the Ayatollah, who has been repressing his people and his citizens and spreading terror for 37 years around the world. So the British government, we're not in that situation whatsoever right now, and those that have been bravely standing up for freedom and democracy in Iran will want to stay in that country and fight for their country and ensure that peace and freedom and democracy prevails in Iran.
I just want to ask you the very quickest question on Gorton and Denton. The Telegraph has reported this weekend that the Greens may have inflamed tensions between Hindus and Muslims in that constituency, not least by weaponising Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Netanyahu in Israel. I just wanted to ask you what you make of those sort of sectarian tactics.
Well, there's no place for that kind of divisive politics and sectarian politics in our country whatsoever. And inflaming community tensions is absolutely unacceptable. It speaks of a lot of irresponsibility by any political party that has been participating in that. And as you know, Camilla, we are urging the Electoral Commission to look at some of the unorthodox and, quite frankly, awful practices that seem to have now materialised and have taken place in that particular by-election.
Dame Priti Patel, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Camilla.